What's up, y'all? Get this camera straight. I just gave this one some titles, but it's just really just checking in. Tapping in. So I realize sometimes, let's see. Get this together. Peace. What's up, everybody in the chat? Let me know if the audio is good. Make this happen. So yeah, I already did a video on one of the things, just running about cycles and understanding our cycles in essence. As a matter of fact, that's why you gotta love yourself and just know yourself and be yourself. You know, of course, that ain't an excuse to try to just do anything, and put anything together. I think about how I was prepared, but not all the way prepared just now. Peace. What's up, everybody? Gonna run it about crystals in connection with the new moon, but also something dealing with the vibe of, just having to stay tapped into knowing ourselves. I realize and knowing ourselves, but just again, like that energy of realizing, what's us and what's like just negative thoughts and like being aware. But that goes back to being aware of ourselves, because, something I could see that could be a cycle is like being on point, but then allowing a lack of confidence to come in. Now, of course, you got to go and do the deeper work, the shadow work, inner work, see, whether it's this lifetime with our parents or past lifetimes of, what sparked the energy of, not feeling worthy or not being confident, you know what I'm saying? But, here it is where it'll be moments where I have all of these things manifested. And I guess that's just getting over that Capricorn energy of, like, oh, that's still not enough. Like, that's still not enough. You gotta do more. You gotta do more. Like, that type of energy. Like, that's that energy where you could, like, almost just run yourself, run yourself dry as well, because that's also energy that may not, be about resting, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta rest, we gotta listen to our being, you know what I'm saying? moving into this new moon. Matter of fact, this new moon placements, a lot of Aries energy. You got the sun in Aries, moon in Aries, Mercury in Aries, and then also I realized for a nice little minute, Chiron been in Aries too, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So a lot of us just been dealing with ways of how to step into our Aries energy. Like looking at the wounds of how we assert ourselves, how we deal with ourselves. The Aries energy also deal with the head, in essence dealing with the mental aspect. But the Aries is kind of like it could be unhealthily in the selfish version of like me first type of energy. So we also may be going through that. I think about the Aries moon placement, what I'm saying? Because I got an Aries moon close to Pisces, and this moon kind of like Aries moon close to Pisces is like in the first decan, or like the first 1 to 10 degrees of Aries, so it'll have a little bit of that Pisces energy as well, and just again like our emotions and connections with our perspective, our point of view, because Aries in essence also opposes Libra. So you could also look at it by defining Aries, you could define it by the opposite of the Libra energy. The Libra energy always, in essence, looks to put others first before itself, and the Aries energy is more like I'll help everybody by being myself, by blazing the trail and showing you how to do this so you could know how to do this, and Libra more so like, wait, no, let me help y'all do this. And again, almost to a point where sometimes it could be putting people first, to the extreme on an unhealthy level. Again, like the extreme unhealthy Libra is like putting everybody before themselves, and the extreme unhealthy aspect of Aries is like, it's just me, it's all about me, and you got to go through trial and error to really see, that balance of dealing with these energies. And again, they're just archetypical expressions, and the video I did not too long ago about, the Pisces energy and the number 9 and how it's really like just the energy of 1 through 9. Go into numerology, what I'm saying? Like everything that comes after 9 is just a repetition of 1 through 9 in essence. So, also having that awareness, because also the book, as I suggest in the books, I ain't saying this gospel, this not no cult, this not no religion, so if I suggest a book or whatever, it's not like the Bible where it's like, oh, you can't read any other book, or you could only go off of everything this book says, but it's a real good perspective, dealing with mapping out our journey, what I'm saying, and it speaks to like the different 9-year cycles, like when we was going through, from being 1 years old to 9 years old, and then from 9 to 18, and then from 18 to 27, and a unique perspective with that 9 energy of, again, like seeing it come up, whether we talk about, well, dang, greatly appreciate that donation, who that is, Rustafarian. Please appreciate that. But yeah, like going through these 9-year cycles, what I'm saying, and again, like, matter of fact, shout out to, I just did myself like a mala in essence, like 108 beads, to say the mantras, and 108, that's 9, that's the 9 energy. And I also again spoke on like my own little inner perspective of like the 108, and how in some tradition, I want to say Tibet, where it's like you have like 108, lifetimes, and looking at it is like 9 times 12, like 108 or 9 times 12 different, perspectives, or, having lifetime in 12 different, zodiac signs, or 12 different perspectives in that energy, what I'm saying? But again, like seeing like the significance of, our cycles of our life, because if you do kind of sit and going into new moons, it's also like a introspect slash retrospect, kind of like peeping out what we have been through up until this point, what I'm saying, and really seeing like, all right, what's going on as far as like, repeating themes in essence, what I'm saying? Like you'll see like, oh, I've done this same thing that I did when I was 18, when I was 9 years old, or, same energy signature. And I say not the same thing because, of course, when we was 18 and when we was 9, I'm pretty sure wasn't doing the exact same thing in essence, what I'm saying? But, because even dealing with, again, Aries season marks the new year, what I'm saying? There's like new beginnings, a new vibe. Because even right now, as I'm doing this video, I'm catching myself from being aware of, like, as I say things, to not just hop into one little monotonous way of, expressing things, but, like with the different seasons, what I'm saying? Like it's always going to be, like at least for the most part, until things shift, and then it will just shift to a different, if we want to, acknowledge the quote unquote, if we're not talking about whether it's, because that get into like the globe and all that type of shit, but like just the what they call it, the little wobble of the equinox, what I'm saying? But that little wobble, regardless if that may change, it's still in essence, would be like 4 seasons. You're gonna have a spring, you're gonna have a fall, you're gonna have a winter, you're gonna have a summer. I said it backwards, but like you're gonna go through those cycles. So in essence, it's like, all right, I know these cycles gonna exist, how to deal with them, how to respond to these cycles, what I'm saying? Like again, it's all about, in essence, responding. And right now, like setting our intentions, like one of the things that's real important, that's why I've been working, speaking of crystals, like working with the hematite, the pyrite, what I'm saying, tapping into being grounded in our own energy, what I'm saying, making sure that we're solidifying our plans, what I'm saying, like, and really, balancing out this spiritual aspect with the physical. Because if anybody know from watching my older videos, I would always kind of lean towards just trying to be in the high chakras, and that that is important, because again, as I peep out how important the dream work is, I'm seeing that theme come up a lot, tapping in with the dream realm, tapping in with the astral realm, what I'm saying? And again, and understanding that our physical experience is, in essence, a depiction of, what's going on in the spirit realm and the astral realm, what I'm saying? If you got certain, energies you're dealing with etherically and astrally, it'll show up physically, what I'm saying, through people, places, and things, or through your own health, what I'm saying? So it's also being aware of that too, But and being aware of those different cycles in our life, what I'm saying? Like in reading ourselves like a book, because and that's just me and my perspective, like having to deal with, like, should I continue talking about certain things? The more and more I realize, like at the end of the day, what I'm saying, of course, want to be aware, because mythology is anatomy by law, you know what I'm saying, by the law of correspondence. Mythology is anatomy, you know, those mythological stories are stories of inside the body as well, you know what I'm saying. And regardless if the body is temporary and a part of, you know, illusion, or a part of, you know what I'm saying, this matrix, you know, it still has some relevance. But it's like how to apply that in practical terms in my now moment, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just fantasizing about who and what the Anunnaki was, or who and what the, you know, Kemetic people was, and, you know, it's like getting a deeper understanding how to maneuver in a realistic understanding, you know, because I realize, you know, we speak through our filters, aka our perception, you know, and realizing, you know, speaking through our filters, you know, we also speak through certain biases. That's why, like, I developed that vibe to learn from different people, learn from different books, you know, different people who speak on, you know, aspects of occult or esoteric information, you know, and I see, like, all right, the common truths, and then I could see where, all right, this person, I could tell by the way they talking, they got a bias against people from the South. The way this person talking, they got a bias against women, and the way this person talks, they got a bias against ignorance. You know, the way this person talk, they got a bias against this, or the way this person talk, they always try to seem like they was the first one to say this, or what, you know. And again, and realizing what's funny is, I realize it's not so much as me like worrying about what other people doing, as much as it's a reflection of how much I put myself under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? It's like I put myself under these little lights and microscopes, and seeing like, all right, I'm just doing that just because it is. Because even the, you know, the prophecy or psychic ego of like, oh, I was the first one to say that this was gonna be a prediction, or that was gonna be a prediction, you know. And it's like, I get it, you know, and that's a part of our human experience, you know. We shouldn't be hard on ourselves if we see ourselves go through that energy, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely like, you know, like recognizing like, well, at the end of the day, whatever's real is going to show up, you know, because again, like right now, as we continuously move forward, you know, again, like everything's getting exposed, you know what I'm saying? Like on all levels, you know. Again, like having to get my stuff together with, you know, how I'm preparing or doing some of my videos, you know what I'm saying? Like and not lying to myself of like, oh man, I'm just, you know, that's just how it should be. I should just wing it or this and that. Like, no, if, you know, if I know I care about the way I present certain things, you know, again, like having a certain dignity and respect about ourselves, regardless of whether it's a temporary experience or not, you know what I'm saying? Because again, if we go into that extreme psychedelic, oh, you know, high chakra vibe, you know, it'll kind of, you know, you may do things in a manner where it lacks like a certain level of, you know, respect and dignity within your experience. You know what I'm saying? So, but matter of fact, this new comic book is so fire. I see something too, and shout out to the Brethren Bridge of Ra, Mr. Aaron. I saw a video he just spoke on recently, and it kind of synchronized with, you know, I remember doing a video about like, you know, the seven continents, and in essence, like, you know, connection with the seven chakras or seven planets, you know, but you know, like different parts of the land in connection with certain chakra energies or certain, you know, certain planet energies, and in essence certain, you know, deities or gods or spirit energy, you know. And in this little comic book Ordinary Gods, they brought that up. It was like, let's see, I'm trying to find a little area. It's like different lands. You had the land where love mostly was, the land where mostly instincts, the land where it was mostly cunning energy. And you had like those, you had sorrow, worry, what that is, guilt in a certain little land, regret, and even the personification, the bridge from worry to regret, bridge from what it is, regret to guilt, you know what I'm saying? Because again, like how I would bring up the energy of Louisiana, and the weather, the weather conditions and the landscape, speak to the energy, Louisiana energy has a lot of, emotions that, emotional energy, because it rains a lot. It's like a steamy energy, it's also more so a maternal energy that way, again, more so water and earth, with a little bit of heat, what I'm saying, aka, sun energy, which in essence create that steam type of energy, and like, again, like different energies in different little places, across the world, are more prominent than others, again, like the desert, hot, dry areas are going to be, more the masculine energies, more the air and fire energies, See that across the board. Again, tapping into this new moon energy, again, like with new moon in Aries, initiating a lot of beginnings, because I realize how things do move in cycles, and when, say for instance, you set a certain intention or lack thereof during the new moon, it's inevitable that when the full moon cycle that comes up afterwards, you get to see a manifestation of the seeds you were planting. And literally, again, like it's all across the board, as above, so below, the seeds you're planting during certain moments, and no coincidence that the seeds, in essence, kind of go off of the moon cycles more than, when it's first in its beginning stages of growth, a lot of planting has to deal with, the moon cycles. But again, the full moon and certain things that manifest inevitably. And so with those seeds that we planted, or lack thereof during the new moon, and when the full moon coming up, it's like, how do we respond? Like for the most part, it's like, how will I react the same way I reacted before, or will I, respond differently? Have a new, different, unique, or just say new response to, some of these, old cycles and loops I've been creating. Because at the end of the day, that's what I realized, and that's what, I mean, you could tap in to different dimensions of learning, when we talk about psychedelics, but for the most part, it was like peeling back the onion of loops, what I'm saying? It was like showing you like the micro loops down to your big loops, like what you may go through within your day compared to within a couple of weeks, compared to within some months or, some years. But it was just like unfolding. To give like a little terminology to it, you can almost say like in some cases psychedelics is like a loop microscope, it's like a cycle microscope, it's like and it's also like a subconscious microscope. It's like a subconscious / loop microscope, because it also, I mean, the loops are the lesson loops are cycles we experience is due to, subconscious programming, so it's kind of, again, it's all connected, in essence connected to our memories, and realizing like how important it is for like mental health and, like doing the type of energy work to like, program the subconscious mind. Because here it is again, like where I could have, you know, music video manifested, you know, a YouTube channel that's impactful, I done met, did an interview with, one of my top favorite rappers, gave a bracelet to one of my favorite rappers, went to a Brother Panic lecture, you know what I'm saying? Traveled away from my hometown, it's like countless. Went to the self-realization center after reading the book, autobiography of a yoga, end up going to Paramahansa Yogananda spot, in LA, like all these different things. But if I'm not like creating a habit of, for one, because that's going into gratitude, like being grateful for what we already have and what we already done, and seeing how much we already done, and again, like creating a memory bank, because that's the like currency and all the different forms of, speaking on like money and stuff like that has to deal with the water flow, and memory, water holds the memory, mem or re, you know, because mem in the Hebrew letter mem is connected to, water in essence, and water holds memory. But again, it's like, like storing in the memory banks those triumphant moments, and understanding the balance too, like that's what also creates that undefeatable mind frame, in the sense of like, understanding that negativity, certain trauma, certain hard stuff, do exist. Is how we deal with it, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna exist. The pendulum is gonna swing. It's how we respond, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna make some mistakes. You're gonna, not make it to this place at the time and you thought you was gonna make it, or like have a certain video plan, and then, I get tired all of a sudden. I gotta go to sleep or whatever the case. It's like, all right, it's like, how do I respond, and staying consistent and persistent, and, dealing with, the cycles and the ebb and flow of, our energies are, and, and when I think about that, I think about, again, just reading ourselves like a book. Of course, we read books and, may gain certain little insights about different things, the mythology and all these different, different stories, because it is, it is connected to this experience. It is connected to your experience, right now, in essence. But definitely, like, it's like, reading your day-to-day and your emotions, and, how you respond to certain things like a book. Seeing like, all right, usually when I have this type of dream, I'm probably going through this energy, or that energy, you know what I'm saying? Or usually, because I spoke on, like, again, like seeing the waking, quote unquote waking, but, seeing the symbols within, your physical experience, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody, a dog just ran past me. All right, that has something to deal with friendship and companionship and loyalty, and, also dogs could be connected to the Anubis energy, you know what I'm saying? So the Anubis energy, or a loyalty energy, is coming up for me, because I just seen that dog. Or if the dog barking, it must mean that, it's something that I need to be aware of about loyalty or friendship, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, that's just on a broad span, because again, you got your own personal experience, where you might see a dog and it reminds you of your old dog, Benji, or Old Yellow, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It may have a significance, you know what I'm saying, outside of the general definitions of it, And I think that's what also make, like, like doing like reading the dreams kind of fun, in essence, because it's like putting together a little puzzle, you know what I enjoy it, and realizing too, you know, you know, being aware of, because I notice, if certain dreams had a certain theme about them, not getting too in depth about some of my dreams, but like if it would have a certain theme, I would not want to like break it down because I just didn't like the way it was presented. Like I don't like the way that was presented. I don't. That within itself is letting me know something. Like the fact that I don't want to deal with it because it was presented a certain way. It's like letting me know some type of little trauma or some type of little, little connection of something that's going on, within, to be aware of. But yeah, again, like, tapping in with the dream journal, doing our little astral work, and, honoring the fact that this bodysuit is not gonna, gotta be aware of how to maneuver, through the transitioning, transitioning from out of the physical, that's just a fact, you know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. Whooping at somebody, typed in actions and results, and and another thing right now that's coming up is, again, like, the proof is in the pudding. And what I had to realize, it's such a, I ain't gonna say a slippery slope, but depending on if you're not strong with your awareness and sure with yourself and understanding yourself, like say for instance, like having a YouTube channel is mostly, talking, but, it's not to put it in a space where it's like, oh, I'm just talking, so I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not putting my money where my mouth is because I'm only just talking. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, well, hey, what if your purpose is in alignment with talking or sharing things? Then you are, walking the walk, as much as you are talking the talk. You know what I'm saying? And I realize, just having to be aware of that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, like, hey, if you was just all talk, in the sense of, what it's meaning, from that perspective, you wouldn't even, your YouTube channel wouldn't be up, you wouldn't have no jewelry business, you wouldn't have no logo for your jewelry business, you wouldn't have no Etsy shop, you wouldn't be working on a website, you would, you know what I'm saying? Like these things wouldn't exist if you was just all talk, you know what I'm saying? And again, and you gotta, that's why self-talk be important too, because you gotta talk these things out with yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, like, all right, am I just talking, or let's pay attention to what's the results, you know what I'm saying? But definitely though, again, like it's about walking the path and not just knowing it. I could read every book on squirrels, but if I never really studied a squirrel or really seen one for myself, touched it, petted it, whatever, or, again, like I could, know like, oh yeah, you gotta meditate, you can work with crystals and, grounding is good, and, but how am I applying that? How am I getting results from working with those, spiritual, quote unquote practices and exercises, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like applying what we learn and not just, learning it and like, oh, I learned that, I know that, I'm aware of it, but, it's like, all right, how can I apply, and again, that Aries energy, that Mars energy, like taking action, kind of being assertive at application, right now, again, no coincidence, spring energy springing into action, the real new year, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't start no new year when everything is in hibernation, the new year is in spring, and speaking of that, because the importance of how etymology also tell the truth about what we need to gaining more understanding about this realm and certain things. I think about I think the word April, broken down in Latin means to like open. You know what I'm saying? Like open a way or a passage. You know what I'm saying? So again, like because that's something I was doing some little etymology breakdown. Matter of fact, check out the Pisces video I did if you want to see again like breaking down the etymology of the word adept. And also just within it a depth. Like depth, like like going deep into something. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about going deep into something, that's also again mostly speak to waters. Subconscious is related to waters. But it's like going deep into something, and no coincidence that the word adept, again connected to the word fish or Pisces. It goes all into that realm. Again, check out that video. But I was doing again, this is a little vibe that just came to me to like research, because I was coming across like this vibe of dealing with like soul retrieval, you know what I'm saying, and karmic healing and ancestral healing, but like again like bringing the fragments of our soul back to that wholeness, and how certain traumatic experiences, whether in this lifetime or another. Matter of fact, shout out, bruh, they saucy up in here, man. They saucy because they got that aspect that's in that new Doctor Strange I just read. Because matter of fact, that's another thing. All the movies and all that about to be, aligned with all the themes of what's really going on in essence, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they may still try to bounce past their little confusion and programming in it, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's going to have a lot of, truthful aspects in it. And a lot of stuff going to have to deal with, like, multi-dimensions, quote-unquote time travel or multi-dimensions, which, again, time travel in essence is like a multi-dimensional energy. Because when we think about like being in a space, you create being a like think about, let's start from here, like it's just that dot with a circle around it. Forget the other three dots, that's afterwards, but it's like that that dot by itself, becoming aware of itself, so it gets awareness around itself, then it moves to another space, it creates a awareness of consciousness from right there, and it moves to another space, but again, like the aspect of time travel or dimension travel is the same thing, because when you're traveling through dimensions, again, you're traveling through sacred geometry, you know what I'm saying, in essence, because the dimensions, and that's why they use that terminology of like what's the dimensions of that square or that icosahedron, or that what's the dimensions of that pyramid. It has to deal with in essence the measurement, and that's what in essence like time is like a measurement, you know what I'm saying, like, all right, I was in this space, and then I went to this space, and then went to this space and that space, that and also thinking about like from my research and my own little inner gnosis of like looking at it also, like if you put a torus field, I feel like I drew this out somewhere. Give me 1 second. I thought I did. Yeah, I know I did. And it's also like, again, like these different points, now that I shared this, so on different levels. I don't want to go too deep into this because it's just me bringing it up because also like again point to the energy of number nine again, like how the nine shows up though, because again you got your seven chakras or seven colors, but then also you got black and white. You know what I'm saying? So that's nine colors in essence. You know what I'm saying? White, it's like pushing out every color, and that's why you see white, and then black is absorbing all the colors. You can also see that as like the bottom and top of a torus field, because one part of the torus field is sucking in, and the other one is pushing out. Almost like a tornado in essence. How they make sure a tornado sucks something in through the bottom of it and blow it out the top. Let trailer home. You know what I'm saying? And that's also connected to again like we talk about constructive wave interference, and again, how does this help in our spiritual growth? Well, lining again, like, I forgot what's the proper grammatic definition of, this type of work. Shout out to the bats. The definition of this type of work, but like when you're like doing research and it's like the process of like I forgot what it's called, but like when you pull back, it's like, all right, I saw this information and you draw this from that, you see it from here. But, it's like by going in depth, you see how all of this, like you get to see, matter of fact, especially if you're one to have a lot of like, inner visions and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Where it's just more so intuitive. Again, like everything has to deal with, as above, so below, as within, so without. Not say everything has to deal with that, but in the sense of like, because again, within this realm, because that's one thing I would always feel and say, it's like, hey, the universal laws, is law, but I feel like it's more so like an algorithm for dealing with this experience, like that. The seven principles may not be, there may be a dimension or a space where the seven laws of the universe may not apply, in essence. That's something too, that could be possible. But that's what we're getting into too, with this the Pisces with the Neptune and Jupiter energy is like gonna be like a lot of, it's almost gonna be like a psychedelic journey for everybody in essence, and but again, and being aware of that, what I'm saying, because there is a such thing as bad trips, what I'm saying, a quote unquote, traumatic trip. So we want to be aware, again, with this Neptune conjunction with Jupiter, what I'm saying, in the Pisces energy to, like be grounded, again, kind of be in alignment, grounded in our awareness, not getting caught up in any illusions, that Neptune energy, one of the negative aspects of that is like you could just be in the illusion, like, claiming that something is all good when it's really not, but you just kind of putting a little bubble on it, what I'm saying? And again, like, like the saying, let's say, a wrong clock, or should I say a broke clock? A broke clock could be right at least 2 times a day, you know what I'm saying? So even if it's broke, like if the clock stopped at 12 o'clock, well, it's gonna be right at least 2 times, at 12 noon and at midnight, you know what I'm saying? And that could give yourself, you know what I'm saying, that could, in essence, that little saying could give you, a little encouragement when you're probably not, again, like you may be being too hard on yourself for not being, because again, there ain't no such thing as perfect. You ain't gonna be like, oh, I got perfectly, everything is all, You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't make no mistakes. I ain't got no negativity. Like, like, nah, it's gonna be negative aspects, positive aspects. It's just like, again, like, how we respond to it, and like, again, like, understanding what negative aspects exist within us. You know what I'm saying? Like, understanding, like, all right, you know, I'm the type of person that mostly do this on a negative end, so I'm be aware of that. You know what I'm saying? So when I do interact with people, I could see that, and if I see it coming up, I could, refrain from doing it or thinking that, or having that, you know, doing that thing in essence. But I was gonna break down though. That's stemming from me getting into the dimensions. That's what it was. Shout out to the little brain health. I ain't gonna say brain health because I realize, in essence, memory not necessarily in our physical brain per se, but again, like the different dimensions. And you could think of like. Dot of awareness is one dot, that becomes aware of itself and it becomes a circle around it. Could also be seen as like this. It becomes like, again, area where it could move in these other spaces. You know what I'm saying? But this also, if I did like the little, perfect little sacred geometry vibe, it would be like the seed of life, which is like I want to say the 7 circles, like the smaller aspect of the flower of life. Another little truth that kind of, again, shows that the 7 energies in essence has more so to do with just, more so the physical experience, because so like the 9-year cycles, again, speaks more so the wholeness of our being. And again, like this little diagram from this book, if y'all just coming in, a good little book. Matter of fact, authors, Faith Haven or Javane and Dusty Bunker. Again, because we talk about, in my eye and mathematics. As I share stuff, again, like, shout out to being a student of Brother Panic as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I always laugh whenever I'm saying, like, certain stuff, and somebody could be like, oh, brother, that's deep. And it's like, but it ain't about that shit. It ain't about this stuff to just be like, oh, that's deep, bro. That was deep. It's like, yeah, but, it's also to gain understanding and to be able to apply it to what we're dealing with, and not just be some philosophical deepness without being applicable or giving us a new perspective that could help again, help aid us in our earthly experience, on our human experience, like healing ourselves and understanding ourselves, understanding, like, again, like the trinity of questions of where I come from, where I'm at now, and where I'm going, which simultaneously exist in the now moment. But you know what I'm saying? Again, bringing it back to the multidimensional aspects of self. When the soul retrieval when soul fragments, is a part, again, like when a certain trauma happened, that part of our being, we say like, because I feel like it's just the English language, because I don't feel like we could necessarily lose a part of our soul to that extent, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's misplaced into another dimension of self, hiding in essence. It's like, oh no, I'm out, I'm going into this dimension, 'cause they didn't have nowhere else to go, so it went hide in another dimension of self. But it's like actually doing in the work, because you know, that's what when we talk about doing the work, and that stuff may seem like, and that's what it is too, if you don't believe that stuff will work, like sitting down and having a visualization of talking to, that dimension of yourself when you was a little kid or in another lifetime, like that stuff actually works, but if you don't believe it to work, then, in which there may be other options for a person that may not want to do things that way, but it's like, that's why certain results are not coming up, because of not believing in doing that type of work, you know what I'm saying? Because I saw that in my past where certain things would come up, and it's like, low key, you're not really, doing the work, so you must kind of subtly don't believe that work. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep it real with yourself. Like, you're not going to get nowhere, again, like from lying, you know, you got to keep it real. But before it get dark out here, breaking down the word dimension, dimension is a measurable extent of some kind, such as length, breadth, depth, and height. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about depth, you know what I'm saying? A depth. So depth is like the fish going into the different dimensions, being able to swim through the subconscious waters, swim through the different waters of, existence, or different dimensions of existence. So, again, dimension, a measurable extent of some kind, such as length, breadth, depth, and height. And then in Latin, it breaks into demateri, which is to measure out. And then you got the word die, you know what I'm saying, di, which is twice or double. It also has to deal with, in essence, part of being in this, again, this light prism, this in essence, matter of fact, shout out to, again, like they like, where certain gods was shipped to this prison planet, you know what I'm saying? And we say prison planet is not to label it as good or bad, right or wrong. It's just like, again, like just really understanding, what's going on in that sense. Because again, we could get caught up in different, different delusions. Because even for myself, and that's something, shout out to the sis Moot, I hollered at her recently and bringing up, doing like certain levels of like soul retrieval work and stuff like that, and finding out about, what some may call, dark ETs, you know what I'm saying? And again, if somebody brings something up, it's not just accepting it just because they said it. For me, I hear it out and I'm like, and it's still that energy of like I gotta be aware, like, all right, in some sense, there are antagonists in this realm, but realizing the antagonist in essence is like a personification of the toxic energies of this bodysuit. You know what I'm saying? Or being in this experience, and not necessarily so much of something that just exists externally on that level. Because I also realize, again, like that energy of like creating a scapegoat out of something. It's like, oh, it's not, nothing I need to work on. It's this dark ET over here that's messing with my energy. Now, all is mine and dealing with the imagination. So I realize another thing too is how whatever works for you, you know what I'm saying, as far as like in the process of bringing yourself to a state of being whole, and understanding yourself fully. If you gotta call the energy inside you a dark ET and whatever, so be it if that's gonna help you. You know what I'm saying, to get to a certain awareness and alignment. And again, especially if you're able to do it without just sitting there and trying to blame, something, and as if you ain't gotta do no inner work, or do no work yourself. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel like that's the name of the game too. Is like what works best for your imagination. You know what I'm saying? But again, like realizing to not fall into the scapegoat energy and like creating this, or it was that energy. Because again, yes, for the most part, we put ourselves in situations where this person kicked us out of a car while it was moving or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not to dwell on no, you don't want to hold on to those unhealthy thoughts, but just in a sense, but sometimes you gotta, in order to clean the dirty dishes, you gotta look at the dirty dishes in order to clean them. But it's like you cannot deny that you in your bodysuit got kicked out of a car while it was moving from that person in their bodysuit. So it's like, how can I say, oh, that was all me? But again, it's like, it's the balance of the situation, because I realize, again, like, we cycling through, from the root to the crown. We in the crown cycle, it has more of that stronger understanding, like, all right, I really am, attracting and, like, I'm creating these situations due to my own inner vibration, you know what I'm saying? Then it goes into the root cycle, and having to be aware, like, all right, it's more so our, physical experience, you know what I'm saying? And having that perspective of this bodysuit compared to that bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? But, still having a deeper or holistic understanding that it's an experience that I attracted, even though it's different, you know what I'm saying? Different bodysuits, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still, again, like the woman who gets beat by a husband could say, like, yo, my husband beats me. And it would sound insensitive if somebody told her, well, you created that situation, right? You know what I'm saying? But, technically, again, like, whether aware or not, due to past life trauma that is, unaware of, or, again, or just certain little psychology, again, certain programmings where there's a lack of self-worth, and you're not realizing, but subconsciously you're vibrating on the energy of a lack of self-worth, so you attracted that situation, because we are magnetic, as much as we are electric, you know what I'm saying? So, let me not go too far. Anyway, so dimensions, and you got in Latin, the materia, which is to measure out. And so the die means two, twice, or double. Then, although dimension I spelled like this, I also brought this into play. DE, it's to it speaks to something down or away, or it's the removal or reversal of something. Hence why, shout out to, I remember Seven Bomar bringing up this, where he's like, the best word magic to use when, like, trying to reverse something is to put the prefix D in front of it, because again, like, what was deprogram, that's to reverse the program or remove the program. So, so like deprogram, deinstitutionalize, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you got that energy. And then the word mention, it refers to something, and without going in detail, so, and that's mention with a T. So mention is to refer to something without going into detail. So you got dimension, measurable extent of some kind, and then again, to measure out, and D, twice or double. and mention, to refer to something without going into detail. And then the Latin for mention is mentio, which means related to the mind. You know what I'm saying? So again, like the mind, in essence, creating these dimension, measure out the mind. In essence, you could almost say too, it's almost like saying to measure out the mind. And the word finite, finite is having limits or bounds, having having a specific tense, number, or person. So finite is having limits or bounds. It's like it's not infinite, it's finite. It's only in this little space right here. You know what I'm saying? In the Latin for finite is finire or finitus, and it also is connected to finish. And that brings it, swings things back into the fish energy again, in the sense of like, fin-ish, Matter of fact, it almost be like a slang terminology for fish, like I got that finish, you know what I'm saying, the finish. But also the like fin-ish, like, oh, it has a fin, like, it wasn't exactly a fin, it was kind of finish, kind of like angle-ish, you know what I'm saying, like it wasn't exactly an angle or angel, but it was angle-ish, it was angel-ish, and again, like speaking to the again, and that, and hence etymology telling the story within itself, if you're breaking down, like, all right, English, so when, uncovering these certain things about like these stories from the Bible or different mythologies and stuff like that, with the etymology, it also adds to the bigger picture, what I'm saying, by, knowing the deeper definitions of these words in essence. Again, like the fin-ish, and then that brought me to the word, definition, or definition, or definite ion, because again, like, at the end of most words with that shun type of with a suffix, it's the word ion. So definite ion or definition is the removal or reversal of the removal or reversal of limits and bounds. Because when you define something, you kind of taking the limits off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of opening it up in essence. You know what I'm saying? Like you're opening something up when you kind of define it. It's kind of like, all right, it's no longer in this little box. In essence, I mean, which vice versa, I feel like it could be. In essence, some people could use the perspective of like, but defining something is putting it in a box. But again, with this language, you can have that different perspective on it. Again, like it's removing the box or like opening it up. Again, removing those bounds in essence. And then you got the word ion, which is an atom, like like Adam and Eve. Ion, atom or molecule with a certain with the net electric charge due to a loss or gain of electron, because you got the negative ions, which has more electrons, and it's, could be healthy to be around. Again, the running water, having a pyramid shape. That's why a lot of people make the Oregon pyramids, or make Oregon in the pyramid shape to like cleanse the area in that manner. You know what I'm saying? But so you got positive ions, negative ions. But again, the ion is an atom. And then in Greek, ion is like ine, I-E-N-A-I, and it stands for go. And go is a part of the word, God as well, you know what I'm saying? So ion is an atom, and in Greek, it stands for go, or like something that go or take action, you know what I'm saying? go means to move from place, you know, to move from one place to another, you know what I'm saying? So again, like moving through those dimensions, you know what I'm saying? Moving through, you know, one spot to another to go, you know. And then it also goes into the word, let's see. Yep, so go also in the past tense is like went, you know, like you went somewhere, you know, to go. And again, go, God, you know what I'm saying? Like a certain action, you know. And went, you know what I'm saying? W-E-N-T, you know, is also closely related to, because matter of fact, because they say went is the original past tense of wind, W-E-N-D, but you think about wind, think about Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? And that brings, you know, Wednesday, that's Old English, when it's day, you know what I'm saying? And it also translates to Odin, you know what I'm saying? And then late Latin was Mercury dies, Mercuridies. So, you know, again, like just seeing the little trail, you know. So, again, from breaking down dimension to the word mention to the word finite to the word definition, you know, because again, because definition again broke down what D meant, broke down what finite meant, and broke down what ion meant, you know. It all kind of led to the story again of speaking to the word go, and go in past tense like went, and went past tense version is wind. And again, that stemmed to Wednesday from what it is, from Old English, and then in English to, you know, it's basically says Odin. And you think about the Spanish and French way of saying Wednesday starts with Mercules, and mercy. Wait, I forgot what it is in French, but basically, you know, it's like the beginning to the name Mercury. You know, so again, you get like these whole little breakdowns of the etymology. I just wanted to share that little breakdown. And before we go again with the because again, to like break down things for ourselves, you know, that way, you know, like, oh shit, I just saw the way Universal broke that down, because that's what that Aries energy about too, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like an independent energy, you know. So it's like, instead of waiting for somebody else to do it for me, you know, and now since I done saw example of it, I could tap into my Aries energy and do my own little etymology breakdowns for myself, you know what I'm saying? In true Aries fashion, you dig? Like with the with this new moon energy, working with the crystals, hematite, red jasper, pyrite, fluorite, aquamarine. You know, again, bringing in that focus, being able to organize, you know, sharpening the mental aspect, you know, creating grounding, being able to solidify, you know, some of the things that we want to, you know, work with that Mars energy to tap into, it's like, all right, having things mapped out, having a certain, level of planning. Because I realize, again, not on no rigid stuff, because, again, we'll get rigid about planning, and spirit will guide you to do something out, that wasn't in the plans, in essence, you know what I'm saying? So, always be aware, again, like that balance of the masculine and feminine. You got like an internal family, you know what I'm saying? Mom, dad, and the child, and that breaks down the different elements, you know what I'm saying? I guess the child would almost be like ether, like the five-pointed star, creating a five-pointed star. Mom is like water and earth. Dad is like air and fire, and the child is like the ether. Because in essence, from darkness let there be light. From the darkness of the womb, when the sperm touched the egg, out of the ethers, that consciousness start growing in that womb. And what also been coming up is like again, working with green jade, helping with the kidneys, but also green aventurine, man. I was, reading this book about like soul retrieval, and also like I did a video a while back. You go check out with the spleen chakra and like certain energetic cards, and when doing card work, and it's just a safety thing for me. I always do it from the perspective of let me detach my attachment from these people, places, and things, and not looking at like, oh, they trying to attach to me. It's like, hey, maybe I'm still emotionally attached to these people, places, and things. Again, like not creating a boogeyman out of people. At the same time, you do have to acknowledge that there are certain antagonists that are not excited about what I talk about on these videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, it's like having to be aware of that, but without, giving it that power. In essence. But yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Like noticing how much green aventurine, and it makes sense. I was telling somebody that the other day. I'm like, dang, jade and green aventurine is two crystals that's very popular for manifestation of abundance and prosperity. And again, definitely with this new moon, energy. If some of us having to deal with transmuting some of these little abundant blockages, like, oh, money is physical, money is, it's energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and in this realm, different things shift, you know. It's like, that's just the name, that's just what it is. So it's like we could either align with it or try to claim being, oh, I'm so spiritual, I don't have to worry about money type of thing, and, then feel some kind of way when you see like, damn, maybe I should have been making sure I align with abundance and prosperity. That gratitude. Matter of fact, before I go, everybody, where y'all from? What areas y'all? Walk over here in this little lighter area. Also for me to tablet. That's another thing. Uh, it is. Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying? Just remember, you know what I'm saying? This physical realm it is temporary, but you know. So Christian, what other than Lyra, you know what I'm saying? Where you what part of this region, what part of this realm you came into? That's another thing too, you know, I realize, you know, some of us may not be, you know, the hands-on energy. Like I think about like the energy of like quote unquote nation building, what some people may call it right now, but just the energy of, you know, like making sure, you know, we are aware of planning, you know, how to connect, you know, with our soul fam and have like little communities and stuff like that. But I realized just understanding to like just play our parts, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't like, hey everybody, you have to go, you know, build a house from scratch right now. You have to learn how to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, just be great at what you're great at, you know, and we all connect like Voltron in essence, you know what I'm saying? That's something I realized, you know. Like, of course, you know, as beings, we learn a little bit of everything. You know, if I am meant to be uh, more of a doctor, I may still know how to, you know, do certain things in nature. Or if I'm do certain things in nature, I may still be aware of how to, you know, teach something. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, having these different abilities, but definitely like, you know. You know, again, just being aware of the fact that, you know, things will change, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Tuegbe, Mr. Christian, ATL, by the way of NY. Got Miss Chloe in here, Miss Amber in here, Buddha, Buddha, oh, I'm not able to pronounce, but Chi-Town in the building. Got Delisha Apple Love from South Carolina, but moved to Cali. Sweat the Details in Houston. All right, matter of fact, what's up, the Texas fam? Have to link up in the Texas area. primordial mysticism, simple pranayama breathing, what I'm saying, breathing deep, again, like the through the nose, out the nose, and instead of bringing it to the chest, you're bringing it to like the stomach area, to the diaphragm. So I'm holding my hand up here, but this is kind of like personification of your stomach area. So like when you're breathing in, stomach going out, and when you're breathing out, stomach going in, as deep as possible. Like that changed a lot for me, just simply doing a little pranayama breathing. You also got the alternate nose breathing for balancing out the yin and yang energies in the body. You could, hold, you go from side to side, but you inhale through one nostril, exhale through the other one. You can start to inhale from this side, and exhale from this one. And repeat that process, again of like inhale, exhale one side, inhale, exhale the other side, but one at a time, again while holding, one side. That'll help balance the yin and yang energies, Also, in essence, because the kidneys deal with that energy too. You know what I'm saying? Like working with the nephrite jade, helps. No coincidence that nephrite jade is good for balancing out the yin and yang energies. So you see that little correlation with the bodysuit and the crystals. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the science come together. Because again, it's about awareness of how these things connect on and how to apply them. But and then also, I wanted to say it's another way. Like also, as I said that with the deep breathing for the pranayama, since you said like for meditation is about like, kind of like centering yourself and kind of getting to a calm state. So like also like breathing like, although deep, like slow, like it ain't gotta be like, like super hard and fast, and sex breathing in cycles like a whirlwind. Shout out to that song In and Out. But it's like because they were, you ain't gotta do it fast, you gotta take it slow, what I'm saying? It's all because it's sex, it's the air having sex with your earth, what I'm saying? Literally. Now some people like, oh man, that sounds that's what it is, like the air is having sex with your nostrils. And again, like, even having that perspective help, to really, be more aware, like you think about what certain parts of the body represent too, like the teeth in the skeletal system. It's the Saturn energy. If I got problem with my teeth, my bones, yeah, I got problem with my teeth, my bones. But again, etherically and astrally, what I'm saying, in the spirit realm, I may be dealing with, some energies. I mean, spirit realm and in the physical, but, I'm dealing with some Saturn energies. I'm dealing with some karmic energies or some discipline energies or some ancestral energies, especially if you got, because I realize, if my knees go to feeling some kind of way, of course I'm going to find a physical health remedy as far as like eating certain things and a certain vitamin. But again, that vitamin or what I'm eating is just a physical representation of an energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like playing a game in a sense. And again, not to, when I say playing a game, not to the point of where you don't have accountability with the way you carry yourself and deal with yourself. Because again, it's very important for us to value our, spirit, soul, and the understanding of ourselves. But just in the game of like from the perspective of, like, what we get from the stores is just a physical representation of something that, that helps. But, again, like problems with the knees may be speaking to certain ancestral, energies that we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And again, also speaks to the shock. I mean, well, you do have the niche chakras, and I do have a video on the niche chakras. But what I was gonna say is also aligning with the zodiac signs. If I got a problem with my knees, then I'm also dealing with some type of problems with the way I deal with my Capricorn energy. You know what I'm saying? If I got like a little pain in my shoulder, I'm probably dealing with, got some situations with my Taurus energy, almost somewhat the Gemini when we get down to the arms. But and again, like the head, the Aries energy, you know, uh, dealing with the Aries energy, it's like the head energy, having headaches, certain little ailments with, the eyes or anything on the head, you know what I'm saying? We're dealing with that Aries energy. So, again, just those simple perspectives that let you know, again, like what planetary energy, you're dealing with. So the completion process also for processing those feelings from the physical. Yeah, it's like tapping in and doing that inner work, journaling. Journaling helped me a lot to be able to go back and reference certain points in my journal. Like understand certain things. Again, like certain cycles. You know, you might see like, all right, dang, because even with certain astrological aspects, and I'm one, you know, I'm looking more into numerology and astrology. You know what I'm saying? But you know, not to an extreme as far as with how I deal with my day to day life, but it does have some effect, because I'm one of those people who, you know, was like staying away from it and then looked at it and like, oh shit, this shit really, really does align. But on a deeper level, not just, oh, my sun sign is this, and it's like the whole planetary chart, the whole natal chart, and even different little aspects as far as like our, like, the moon conjunct this planet, or this planet sextile to another planet, you know what I'm saying, like that, certain planets in a certain house, and, realizing like, all right, damn, I had like almost like a stellium in the Virgo and Libra houses, and my north node is in Aries and my south node is in Libra. So it's like, let me know, especially point to the Libra energy, it's like I done been there, done that. It's time for me to tap into the Aries energy, because that's also two important things I would say, with, understanding also like your energy in this lifetime of, like what you're here to transmute, or, what's your challenges in that sense with your, like with previous reincarnation cycles or karmic cycles, is your Chiron placement, and what's your north node and south node. Your south node is what you're used to doing, that's your comfort zone. You could just fall right into place with that, but it doesn't activate any growth for you because you're used to it. It's, again, like the growth is changes, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the north node energy is what creates, like, the change, and again, for myself, north node Aries, it's like, it's for me to tap into that Aries energy. Anytime I fall into like that Libra energy, or like putting others to the opinion, and that doesn't mean that I don't, I'm not able to work in a group, or I'm not able to honor others' opinions, just because, that's another thing. It's not about being extreme about it. Everything is about balance, in some way, form, or fashion. But it's definitely, again, like being tapped in to the Aries energy, because I find myself being more at peace. And it's, even though challenging, like, because I could sense the challenge in it, because there's that voice that's like wondering, like, but what about what they think, and what about what they think, and but deep down inside, I feel a peace of when I'm like trailblazing or just doing what I feel I should do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and living more so by example. Again, that's the Aries thing. It's like, I'll show you how to love yourself. I'll show you how to, do things under your own direction. You know what I'm saying? Not waiting for external confirmation, or and I say, wait for external confirmation, but again, like teaching you how to tap in from your perspective. What's up, homie? My sister. The dogs. Speaking of the Anubis energy, the friendship energy, the companionship, loyalty. Oh yeah, it's a constant. That's why, again, we have to be strong. You know what I'm saying? Like this energy. That's why some people bullshitting to be like, on the vibes of like, man, this Earth plane, like, bro, I ain't coming back, or this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's definitely some strong lessons. And you think about Saturn, the bones, some structures. Into this little skeleton bodysuit, holding it together, or should I say holding it up, that Saturn energy, and also, again, like connected to karma. No coincidence. Again, the anatomy and mythology, anatomy is a mythology by law. Anatomy, the bone marrow, or inside your bone, it creates blood. So in essence, like, and blood has iron in it, and iron, or should I say, blood, and or should I say iron is connected to the Mars energy. So in essence, it's like the Saturn energy creates the Mars energy in the body, aka the karmic energy, the karmic cycles of the Saturn energy picks out what bloodline you manifest into, due to your previous cycles. And again, that story is told by your anatomy as well, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's how to study things without trying to be so deep about it from an esoteric perspective too. Like, you could just study anatomy. Study, like, know the correspondence. Like, all right, my skin corresponds with this planetary energy, or this God or deity, or this expression. And my, again, like, my feet is connected to Pisces. So the reason why my feet are always hurting is because I'm always hurting my Pisces energy, or not honoring my Pisces. You know what I'm saying? Like, the story is also in the anatomy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, all right, Amber, you talking about the completion process? Oh yeah, matter of fact, I was just bullshitting with somebody about that, like, like having the different teachers, and how some people may have, like, or seem like, we still keep it pretty real. You know what I'm saying? But it's like some stuff I get from some people, some stuff I don't deal with, but you know, till be coming with the real. Most definitely. Because that's one of the places that I learn about, like doing parts work and soul retrieval, and, like sitting down and doing those type of meditations, was from looking at some of her stuff. Yeah, that completion process. Again, also with this Aries energy, new ways of thinking and new perspectives. Yeah, mental. Also, it being a new moon. Man, I can't give my location out like that. I'm from Louisiana, currently in Texas right now, though. In Texas. In Texas. Nah, cause that's another thing too. You know, it's a balance. You know, it's like I could tell, like it, and that's something to subtly pay attention to. If you feel like you still gotta be afraid to say certain things, then that's still like some level of fear. You know, it's like, bro, I know I'm protected. I could pinpoint actually where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff is just like, all right, I don't, you know, like some stuff should be left with mystery. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just give out like, you know, this direct, you know. But again, uh it's like knowing you protected, you know what I'm saying? Like even if a person knew where I stay, ain't nothing fucking with me, ain't nothing gonna touch me, ain't nothing. Just know, you know what I'm saying? Like my fucking vehicle used to drive itself on some drunk nights. Like, I know I'm here for it. I know I'm straight, you know what I'm saying? And that's just saying that in the light of what we're talking about, because again, just keeping it real on the psychological level, because another aspect of psychology though too is if you gotta talk it too much though, you may not believe it. So if I gotta keep saying like, oh yeah, I know I'm protected, I know I'm protected, I'm protected, then probably somewhere in a little small area you may not feel protected, so that's why you talk about it. I talk like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Again, gotta keep it real. Gotta keep it real. You don't, man. Look, that's how you become great, though. Is by like every teeny little, you know what I'm saying, thing that you could, again, put myself under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm able to peep out all those different, like again, like little biases some people may talk with, certain little perspectives. You know, again, it don't be from a energy of like trying to judge them off of it, or you know, it's like that's how much I put myself under microscope, so I see it. You know, in essence, you know, and I had to, you know, realize to maintain my dignity and respect as a being. I brought that up earlier, you know, because from a lot of DMT trips, you know, like I don't like my ego, my what what wants to be called, you know, universal frequencies or this little identity in this realm, you know, and got broken up, chewed up, and spit it out by the universe in so many DMT trips. But that's why, like a lot of times, I wouldn't care about like certain things being exposed about myself. Like if I'm doing a video, again, like oh I exposed that I need to work on this, so I expose, man, shit. For one, that everything gonna get exposed and being exposed in this realm. Two, there's some beings that's so psychic they know what you ate yesterday, today, the day before. They know if you touch yourself, if you stuck your finger somewhere and then sniffed it afterwards. Like they ain't no secret. Now everybody ain't that aware, but just the fact that I know that, it's like, you know, that some are, and that just there's no secrets at the end of the day. I mean, there, you know, it's still a little wiggle room for some people to try to hide something, but at the end of the day, you know, it's like it's all gonna get exposed. But I realized though I had to peep game and like still have some type of dignity and respect about my, you know, by the way I carry myself in this realm. But you know, it's definitely again like from, you know, those psychedelic experiences, what I identify with ain't shit compared to what I, the true essence of my being and what, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to devalue this experience, but just, just knowing what's up on that level. But yeah, yeah. I mean, in this realm, it kind of has that dual nature, so it's a little bit of both. Talking to Leah Catherine, you're talking about what's an attack and what's a wound, in essence. Because the wound or that quote unquote attack, or what feels like an attack, is being created due to, you know, uh, previous wounds or energy you're carrying or something you need to work through, in essence. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize, like just to focus on just being strong, because in every moment there's gonna be somebody that's like, I can't stand them, I wish they would trip and fall, or even more malicious than that, without getting into the details, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I just have to just be strong. Like I have to understand myself to the fullest and just make sure I'm doing the shit that's necessary, the things that's necessary to, stay strong for myself, and everything will fall in place, you know what I'm saying? But everybody, wired different too. The unique expression of source in this experience, through to the star portals you came down through, aka your natal chart, zodiac astrology. So some people could be aware of certain things from a certain perspective and not get caught up in it externally, while some of us, if we kind of put a little bit too much emphasis on it being external, it could fall into like it's all external. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta play it safe in whatever manner is best for you. You know what I'm saying? But uh, cause I've seen myself deal with certain moments, where it's like it feel like, damn, like this, like I'm doing this work to detach from this person, place, or thing. I'm journaling, but it just still feel like, and I'm picking up signs that's saying that this person is like trying to keep, attaching to me, you know. But again, on a deeper level, as a soul, I, again, like chose to have this experience, and I'm dealing with this energy due to what I've allowed myself to deal with, again, like, uh, we have to be a vibrational match to these attacks. Again, like the empath, attracts a lot of narcissist energy. You know, again, it's the the inner vibration by you wanting to help everybody, and if you're not strong and aware, and you're out here all gullible, then it's going, you're gonna attract that situation, and that's the wound or the thing you have to heal in itself. It's like you attract these situations because you was being too gullible, like you're trying to remind yourself, like, oh shit, all right, that's why I'm dealing with this shit, because I was too gullible as a child or in a past life, which, reflection of, or in a different dimension of my experience, I was like too gullible. So that's why this shit popped off again in this lifetime, for me to finally fucking get the picture to stop being so fucking gullible. You know what I'm saying? Again, like with any lesson loop, I call them lesson loops, but any cycles, it's like it keep reoccurring to like message to, till we find that little aspect of what it is, and it could, again, like, uh, sometimes it ain't all peaches and cream. Sometimes it could be tough, because it takes a lot of repetition, to maintain certain healthy habits when going through a lot of these energies, you know. But again, and Leah Catherine, I explained in a long video, the recent video. I just did 2 playlists. They probably show us the 2 newest playlists, but just go to, if you type in universal frequencies and energy vamp. The most recent video I did on it, not the old one that got a lot of views. You know what I'm saying? That's early in the game. Everybody, again, new to spirituality, ready to blame everything on somebody else. Like I knew it was them. I knew it was somebody outside of me. I knew it. It's like, man, look, keep happening. 'Cause that's another reason why some of that shit keep happening too. Is because it's like you may be too external on it. You know, it's something that you need to shift inside you. That you keep trying to like, oh no, it gotta be, you know, my mom. It gotta be my cousin. It gotta be so and so. You know, and yes, that it may be partially true, but you know, the holistic aspect is like you're vibrating on a frequency though to continuously attract that situation. And once you shift, whether it's a victim mode energy of blaming or whatever the case may be, you'll start to see, you know, less of those experiences and, you know, in essence are, depending on how deep and how strong you get that aha moment or realization, you'll see it just stop, you know, just bam, you know, all at once. And I'm I did a little video. I'm gonna end up having to post it, you know, about dealing with that. You know, again, like, you know, I did and that's another video I did a while back on like covert narcissism, and you know, and the whole just narcissist energy. And matter of fact, and it being connected to, you know, in essence, what some people may call dark ETs, and realizing again, like the balance of the situation, like, you know, it's our own internal subconscious traumas that in essence creates these external experiences, you know, and attracts us to them, you know what I'm saying? But you know, cause yeah, I explained it already fully in that video, but just simply put, you know, like, cause where it does get tough is like, all right, you know, you don't want to be gullible to the fact that it was an attack in essence, like, you know, because I realize, again, because what makes it tough with dealing with a narcissist energy is like you could get into an energy of like, oh, well, you know, depending on how smart and how strong the, you know, that narcissist energy is, like, oh, well, maybe I was being a narc. And you know, and the Brethren, shout out to the Brethren Aaron, because he brought that up too, and I done said it in some way, form, or fashion that, you know, I mean, we all probably done displayed some aspects of narcissism in some way, form, or fashion. You know, we ain't around this bitch like squeaky clean ourselves. You know, in essence, you know, you got some type of little energy that's toxic or unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? In some way, form, or fashion. You know, it's like, oh, well, I just never. Man, if you in this earthly plane right now, stop playing with yourself so you don't have to stay in them karmic cycles and, you know, reincarnate constantly. You know, you might want to like take a step back and like, you know, again, like put ourselves under a microscope and be accountable and see like, all right, what am I doing? You know, it's like, all right, my little ego energy to want to be, you know, to try to do spirituality fast, you know, that kind of may have attracted some unhealthy energies into my life that turn into people, places, and things, or, you know, this energy of wanting to have sex with anybody, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, you know, but again, it's like it starts with self, you know what I'm saying? Having to be accountable, most definitely. You know, because, you know, and I'm not suggesting to take psychedelics, because this realm getting so, to a vibration where it's damn near like taking psychedelics without having it. I'm realizing psychedelics was kind of like just a little tool, and I said too, like a medicinal aspect to like, to really bring yourself there before it really gets that strong in this realm. But this realm kind of moving towards being like a trip anyway, where it's gonna be like, oh shit, this was all me the whole time. Cause one thing's for sure, and this where shit get real too. It's like, all right, manifestation. You create your reality. I'm a manifester. Even some people may call themselves gods or whatever. I like to say source on the human experience because of how tampered with the word God is, but whatever. It's like, I'm a creator, I'm manifesting, but I didn't create that over there, because what that does, again, that's creating the energy of like, oh, so you saying like that over there is like more powerful than you too, because if you're having trouble with it and you didn't create it, then then you giving it that power. You know what I'm saying? That's again like indirectly what the people with the religious church mind frame do. It's like, oh, the devil working, baby. Oh, the devil. It's like, well, fuck, if the devil is that fucking strong, and why in the fuck you paying? And excuse my diction, excuse me, I'm kind of getting. It's like, why? It seems like talking to God must not be working if you blame if the devil that strong and influencing things and this and that, and hence why the devil also may be connected to the goat, aka the Capricorn, the Saturn, Satan, Capricorn energy, the goat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a scapegoat energy too. It's like something to blame other than myself. It's like, oh, it gotta be that energy, that ain't me, But again, because what would have happened too, again, like, well, the veil getting thin, we're gonna start to see like, egregores. Egregores are like, damn near like an entity that's created through thought form, through a collective thought form. It's like, everybody that believe that, that Jesus is like this or that the devil is like this, actually, in essence, almost created, I say almost, in some cases, creating an egregor or like a being that's like that, and that in essence feeds off of anybody who's not aware to know better, you know what I'm saying? And that's facts too. That's something, I had to realize, like to keep it real about just the whole different aspects, because there's some stuff I try to ignore, but you don't get the whole truth by trying to ignore certain things, And I get, again, like it's certain things that we should learn in certain layers, shouldn't overwhelm ourselves with certain information, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, like, yeah, this exists, it does. Yes, they do have egregors and all this, but it's to step into your power to know that, all right, I know who I am, so I'm creating my reality, so I'm not going to allow for this egregor or, this energy, because the egregors about to start popping off, man. I done seen a bunch of, like, oh, have you talked to Jesus lately? Or that? It's like, oh, shit, egregors moving through, you know what I'm saying? Moving through it, and then in some essence, the deity, are just, that, again, as a thought form, and as, like the God energy created, on that level, you know what I'm saying? That spirit, that God, so we gotta just be aware, OG Stepper say, expound on what celibacy. Just simply, I definitely realize not, to each his own. I see some brethren, and I feel like that's a trauma within itself too. It's like, in past lives, even expanding probably before even being in a human form, in essence. You know, like the beef between the masculine and feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize how some brethren may treat all women like, oh, they just a Jezebel that's just trying to suck up my solar phallic energy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm jokingly saying it like that, but I get, because I can't, you know, we all got our stuff that we be dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, uh, again, like that energy of like, oh, almost like all women trying to suck me dry type of vibe, and it's like, it's like nah, and that's a trauma. That's a trauma within itself, because I did a video a while back on like the trauma of the pimp, and I connected it. It was on that new Charm. They did a new version of Charm, and it had this little being who on Charm they had a council of women. So like again, like karma is what? It's cause and effect. So if the cause was that, a council of women, always ruled over me and I didn't, and the way they ruled, I didn't like it or whatever, then the effect is that, and again, it's just like creating different perspectives and spaces, you know what I'm saying? Like this happens. So this world is created, aka like a thought, feeling, or, what I'm saying? Expression, the source from a different perspective. It's like, uh, the first time again, like the masculine energy felt offended or like powerless towards the feminine energy, the pimp was created, or like the energy of like, all right, well, because the pimp also kind of in a weird, strange way, also loves and respects the women to some extent. Is kind of weird, is that weird relationship that that for a 3D example, that melanated people and white people in Louisiana have, especially around football. It's weird. It's like they kind of really don't like you, but they kind of like love you, and it's like treat you like shit. But because that relationship almost like a pimp and a whole relationship. Not calling nobody no hoe in no sense of, just in the symbology, blanking it with that symbolic perspective, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, that's the cause and effect. Like this experience, caused this to happen, but me getting drawn off of it, from my experience with celibacy, it does help. You find yourself being more creative. You know what I'm saying? Like in essence, through the semen retention. You know what I'm saying? It's like definitely, cause that's why my YouTube channel and everything just kind of was like whoosh. It's cause I was, I had my little moments here, there. You know what I'm saying? And having to be aware of that, energetically. Of like who, if you do choose to have sex, who you having sex with, and like what energies you're picking up on. Like, what I would do once I became a little more hip, I'm like, I would express to the universe, express inner source, higher self. I'm like, all right, I know if I have sex very soon, it may not be with the queen I'm going to stay with. And I'm not telling y'all to do this, I'm just running it, you know what I'm saying? Just storytelling, But I'm like, I want to make sure I attract, like whoever it is that, I have sex with, because because even if we dealing with that right now too, that Aries, Mars energy is probably a lot of us hot in the pants right now. I'm like, let me attract a queen where our sexual experience could be healing for both parties, where, knowing that, I'm still on my growth, still working on certain energies, and most likely the queen still on her growth, like where basically the exchange could be healing and mutual, you know what I'm saying? Like where we could actually help each other energetically, instead of like creating some type of attachments or, some type of unhealthy energy, you know. which worked maybe like once or twice. I feel like that was the case, and then some other cases, it didn't always line up. But you live and you learn. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and like it definitely is though a strong connection, a strong energy. You gotta be aware, especially as a woman, that you do kind of take on strongly the energy of those men you connect with, and the man vice versa. But again, the women just kind of strongly, because they're more magnetic. You know what I'm saying? Strongly taking that energy. But the celibacy vibes. It's again like less confusion. You more aware of self. Again, a lot of creative energy. Because the sunlight, solar phallic energy, connect the sperm connected with the sunlight. So and the sun, like the solar plexus, and the yellow color, in essence, it's like the mental capacity, the creative capacities. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like, cause yeah, like seeing for myself where there was like, you know, there was a, passive aggressive little narc tendencies I saw, in essence, you know, within myself. And again, because I'm like trying to acknowledge everything to the T, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, like make sure, like, all right, am I really? Because, and kind of full circling it back to, because I know I was expounding on that on some level. Like, after taking, because that's why I said, hey, I'm not telling y'all to take psychedelics, but after, having a DMT trip, it really showed me, like, all right, I'm attracting and creating all of this shit. Like, I can't blame none of this shit on nobody, you know, and hence why I could always, like, I got like a little leash on my ego where that external blame energy, if it try to seep in, it won't last for too, I say not even long in that sense of it, because it's like, oh no, you done had too many experiences to show you that, it's what you're attracting, and hence why, and when we talk about, a lot of us, me learning from, hearing, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, and just other teachers who bring up, and then get into like, talk about our non-melanated brother and sister, non-melanated beings like a Carl Jung, I think it's Joseph Murphy was one of the books I had too, but definitely Carl Jung. You know what I'm saying? With like, understanding the subconscious and the importance of that. And again, and that being related to our dreams, and again, spirit realm, astral planes, that's all interconnected, and how subtle some things could be. Because I realize, even though I don't have a voice yelling out, I lack confidence in doing this. The fact that my actions is aligning with sabotaging a certain thing, then it's like, all right, I must subconsciously, because that's why the subconscious rules most of what you do. So it's like, all right, I must keep doing this action because I'm not believing in myself in this area, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I keep sabotaging, and it also goes to what Miss Amber Ellis was bringing up too, in connection with the Till Swan talking about parts work. Because also what she brought up in parts work was real interesting, is that self-sabotage is like the multi-dimensions of self, and not really sabotage. It's like, it's a part of ourselves, like stepping up and like, no, I don't want to do that. Like it has a reason, a traumatizing reason, or, that dimension of ourself feel like it's helping us by keeping us from money, because we might have had a traumatic experience with money. So whenever we go to do something that's really gonna help us financially, we sabotage it, but AKA that little part of ourselves that's like, oh no, I know I'm protecting you. You don't want, because money comes with this and that, but it's like, hey, and that's when you gotta sit down and journal or go on a little shamanic journey of like visualizing, like like, hey, I want to connect with this part of myself that always sabotage this area, and again, put that intention out there and then do the meditation or do that work, you know what I'm saying? To connect with that energy. Yeah, that's another thing, man. From the skillet to the frying pan, Indigo Lynn, you bring up the romanticization of the empath. I do my best to like not, you know, especially as I'm learning more, because even having the honor, again, like the the aspect of stuff being like war, you know, in a sense of like think about I forgot his name, but the one who created the Art of War book and having to be aware of that and how certain concepts, could shift and like how you think and like, oh yeah, it's spirituality, working with a crystal, it's spirituality. I'm an empath, but it's like that's probably just another little lens for you to shuffle yourself into like from the skillet to the frying pan, like from Christianity to something that's the same thing but it's just a different name. Like, oh, this ain't the skillet, it's a frying pan. It's different. It's gonna fry you up the same way, you know. And I make that joke and I'm laughing, but I hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? Uh, do that inner work for sure. Yep, new moon in Aries. Because again, as above, so below, as within, so without. On the egregor aspect, we have an inner collective, you know, the dimensions of ourself that could create a egregor too, aka sometimes, whether it's a healthy habit or unhealthy habit. Because I realize, that's another thing. Egregors, it ain't just all a negative thing. You could have a healthy little entity, that energy, that the entity I always tell you to do your meditations and do, you know what I'm saying? Do your inner work, you know what I'm saying? Then you got that little energy that's like go get a chocolate bar from the store. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel your stomach having that pain. Look, feel it. Go and get that candy bars. It's gonna help. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Trust. It's on all levels for sure. Yo. Yeah, man. Look, I'm grateful to be able to, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I had to call myself out on a few things, but I'm grateful to be here. Really grateful to be here. I appreciate y'all, because again, this a lot of times, it could be like therapy for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's also again a part of me being in alignment and having to deal, like I brought up earlier. It's like, part of what I do is talking. You know, so it's like not feeling like, oh, I'm talking too much or just trying to do a video to do a video. It's like this is a part of what you do, and realizing how certain cycles was being created by, like, again, that's why you just gotta know what's up, because you think like, oh, meditation is spiritual, you know, laying out the sun is spiritual, grounding is spiritual, so let me ground and meditate more. But it's like, no, like the reason why you may be experiencing this loop is because you actually need to take certain actions that has nothing to do with meditating and grounding, but actually just being active in your life in this now moment, you know what I'm saying? Because as a being, you came down here to do certain shit, and it wasn't just to always be, meditating, always be, you know what I'm saying, in different strokes for different folks, depending on, what they karmic alignments are for this lifetime, but that's something that for the most part only you would know, you know what I'm saying, outside of the certain oracles and beings who could, do readings and sense, certain aspects of what we dealing with karmically. But even still, it's like at the end of the day, you want to get used to doing this type of work yourself and activating it internally, because you ain't gonna always have, so and so, bam, all the electricity go out. And I ain't saying that's gonna happen, but I'm just saying, like, all right, boom, you can't get no reading from nobody on the phone or this and that. Like, what you gonna do? Gotta be in that Aries energy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to be a little independent. Got another little story. Matter of fact, just in general, especially, like being in LA, for one, just in general, again, like certain areas, I feel like that's something, we all got our different we all got extrasensory perception, but it may be attuned to certain specific areas more than others for, for different people. Like some people could fucking talk to an animal, just like know every communication, every, you know what I'm saying, bam. While others with extrasensory perception may not be that, fluent in interfacing with that, with that form of spirit or energy, you know what I'm saying? But I think about how I could pick up on, like, like the essence of like spirits or ghosts of a certain area, you know what I'm saying? But, and I can't remember if it was like I'm trying to think of what I, said or did. I just remember, in a lot of places I went to in LA though, and just the energy of when I was in like around the little Sunset Boulevard area, close to Hollywood, just sensing the Pimp C energy, in the sense of like, and just a lot of artists who, cause Hollywood, but it ain't no secret, a lot of that energy is on some foul, some foul stuff, you know what I'm saying? And when, and that's the importance, I guess, too, of like why a lot of us value bringing up this type of stuff, to help beings, to prevent a being from being unaware of like all the different things that this realm comes with, because again, like the awareness of, yeah, we creating all of our situations. Like, so say for instance, like a lot of the stars are quote unquote, stars, you know what I'm saying? But beings who may have seemed like they, like somebody damn near assassinate them or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, one would say, oh yeah, they did that to him, but it was through some type of ignorance about this realm, you know what I'm saying? Like whether they, they shook hands with with a person that wasn't best for them and didn't realize it after it was, whatever the case may be, it may be through some type of ignorance, or still in the, or because that's another energy too, of that energy of trying to get people, like, because that's another thing, like trying to program you to externalize things, so that if something, comes into your realm, in essence, you'll go to externalize, and then you externalize it, then yeah, then something can, quote unquote, harm you or slip a Mickey in your drink or whatever the case may be, if you're not aware of the strength of your ability to create and to prevent that from happening, and not attract that situation or put yourself in those situations, because it is overwhelming, Oh, word to the rabbit. What's up, Mr. Rabbit? Uh, word to the, being out in LA and just seeing it firsthand, again for myself, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta. In fact, word to Pimp C. Shout out to this. Slow down. Know what I'm talking about? Slow down. You gotta slow down. Know what I'm talking about? But yeah, it's like just being aware, most definitely. 'Cause that's the same thing I felt like I sensed with Biggie, the area off of Wilshire where Biggie got shot. And I could like almost like re-see the event, and I also sense, you know, like just how aware you gotta be of what you be signing up for in those situations and dealing with people. They ain't blaming nobody or none of that, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even like to, again, it's more so Biggie's or whatever, beings like lack of ignorance, I think of somebody posting a picture, with Tupac, and it was like this was the girl who, like all in one picture, he was partying with him. It was like this is the girl who set him up for rape. This is the person who tried to rob him. And this is, as I'm saying, this is not because again, like you don't want to create. Oh, I can't trust nobody or this and that. It's like no, it's just like strengthening. Hence why a lot of things is about promoting how to tap into our intuition. Strengthen our intuition. So it's like strengthen our intuition so that we can be aware of these connections and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And not just again like creating all kind of paranoia or what that means. I can't. No, you can connect with people and deal with people. You just gotta like trust your intuition and build a strong relationship with your inner being, or just say relationship, but just creating that inner strength to just be aware. You know. Yeah, with Pimp, definitely, you just sense, the love, foul play. And you could just sense, matter of fact, again, picking up not even necessarily Egregores, but like just the energy of an area where certain things happen, because that's the thing too. I forgot, it's called Geopath. I did a video a while back on it too. Like a certain area, because I think about like I would pass through certain blocks and I would wonder why the energy of like, you know, somebody getting harmed will pop up. Like if you passing through the hood and you might have a flash of like seeing somebody get stabbed or something like that, and it's like, oh shit, it's like, oh, I'm picking up the energy signature. Like if you walked into a certain, you know, just any area where something happened or whatever, and you could sense that energy. Because I think about and that shit was like pretty on a human level. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool somewhat. You know what I'm saying? In essence, of like, oh shit, I was in the area where some of the, because I could also sense it was some type of program too by the government on some like covert, like it wasn't really what it was said to be with the cat, what's his name, the Manson cat, and the murders in Hollywood. Because I remember one time I was in a certain area in Hollywood, and I could just sense, that the weird eerie energy. You know what I'm saying? But enough about that. as I brought up LA, again, man, there's a lot of strong beings out that way too. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you have to catch earlier the vid, or some of y'all was in this vid earlier, then you caught that part where I was talking about like like different beings in different areas. It's no good or bad, no right or wrong, you know. But let's just say if you're a being that resonates stronger with water and earth, and then you go to where it's sunny and dry, you know, you may not, like that experience. Or again, but it depends. Like if you're looking for a new experience, like again, like you're used to the mother energy, aka the water and earth energy, but it would be medicinal for you to experience some of the farther energy, aka a lot of air and and fire, being in a drier, hotter desert type of area, and that may be, what's best. But it's like, because that all speaks to our karmic cycles and stuff as well. Like again, like what areas we chose to come down into as a soul, and what we move around to while we here. Oh yeah, Leah Catherine, I don't. Yeah, most definitely. The shake back is real, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's definitely, again, because some situations I feel like, it could be, again, from being gullible and ignorant and not being aware of what you was getting yourself into, you know, a certain energy that you may deny, or, like, uh, like again, like we're doing the shadow work and like seeing like, oh, this part of me is bad. It's a demon. You know what I'm saying? But it's a part of you. Then you may have to have experience with this part. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Why you keep pushing me to the side? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it in a light manner, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, but it do get that real because I keep it real. As I'm joking, like we do want to be aware right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of, and being aware of myself, a lot of my laughter is somewhat, when talking about certain things, could be almost like crying, laughing and crying, laughing not to cry. But, like it does, uh, get deep with having to be aware of ourselves in this realm, you know what I'm saying? And that speaks to soul purpose and karmic energies too. Like, if a lot of us feel so, strong about like, bringing forth awareness to these areas, is because, we either had some past experience due to not being aware. So it's like, all right, not only I want to make sure I'm fully aware in this lifetime, but I also want to help others not have to go through what I went through as a soul, you know what I'm saying, to prevent, them from getting all fragmented as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why a lot of us may be more passionate, because I see like, well, I like to, I definitely love tapping into my creative side and realize, we could do more than just one thing to some extent, not being all over the place to where we spread ourselves thin, you know, but like, with music and stuff like that, like that's something I picked up on too, and that's when, I just got to post that video, but like you pick up on that you had a multiple past lives of being a famous musician, or not a famous musician, like just somebody of that ilk, you know what I'm saying, and you ain't gonna be too worried about trying to do that again, and it could go either way though, either because you're used to it, you create it again in this round, or because you done seen it, you done it already. You like, that shit. But again, it all goes back to our karmic cycles, reincarnation experiences, different dimensions of self. the G. That's me. Yes, sir. Look, we all done. Oh man, OG Stepper, that's a whole nother video that I ain't even ready to do right now. There's so much, to express from that experience. But I can say just with psychedelics, a great experience, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be, have to do your research, and be prepared for it because it is very, very intense depending on the dosage or what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but it is definitely, medicinal if you're not, just being all careless about it, you know what I'm saying? But I could just leave it at that. And one thing though I could say from my experience that, what no, I mean, cause that's part of my soul energy too. Like I'm part of a being like a Aries energy, going through things from experience. You know what I'm saying? Because in essence, like as much as I research about stuff, some things I would just like, all right, let me experience this firsthand, because that's why it'll come off as me being, you know, wise about certain things in essence, because it ain't just book research. You know what I'm saying? It's like I know I really put myself through that, but because I think about the moment I took psychedelics back to back, and that trip, the second trip was like, it wasn't like no extreme bad trip, but basically the whole trip was like, let me know, like I told you, you didn't have to take it back to back. I told you, it was almost like but it was a personification of my mind already sensing that, because I was sensing like, all right, just, don't do it back to back. You just, you know, I did it back to back just to see, you know what I'm saying? And when I say back to back, like, one DMT trip, one day, and then, so, not too long after coming down from that one, then, the next day, because DMT so medicinal and so, it's like you even feel it. It's like I don't have to do this back to back. Like it's really not addictive on that level. If anything, I would say, I feel like maybe acid may have something in it to be like more addictive than anything, And shrooms are medicinal. Like you could sense like the healing aspect, and again, like I saw somebody bring that up, like microdosing. You know what I'm saying? Tapping in on that level. But yeah, just definitely having awareness, because I realized also like that I wasn't aware of how much I had to ground myself on my journey in general, because that comes from that Christian perspective. From the skillet to the frying pan, it's like, all right, I left the church, and now I'm in spirituality. It's not the same, you know what I'm saying? But yet I'm just all the way to the crown, aka I'm trying to go to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's all about just the crown. You know. So it's like, like having to be aware again of like just those different dynamics, the subconscious and psychology, you know. Cause yeah, it's like in essence, it's like I'm just grounded from some of those experiences, like literally, like just grounded. I could laugh at that video I did a while back about, oh, I don't like grounding crystals. Like, you know, but it allows for people too to see the growth. That's why I do tell people, like definitely, before you ask all these questions or da da da, check out some of my older videos and stuff like that. You know. Y'all, it's been golden. I'm about to skedaddle. In the good lid, yeah. Yeah, again, it is a very intense energy. Yeah, yeah. Peace, peace, man. Thank y'all for holding the space y'all holding. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, you know what I'm saying? Quantumly, by y'all tapping in, doing whatever work you're doing, you know what I'm saying? It's creating a collective energy, and the energy, just makes it, 'cause that's where it is. Like, again, like the Aries energy, but still, still a collective, you know what I'm saying? Still a connection. It's just like, uh, again, which most of y'all I can tell know this already, but again, like, but it does start with the inner journey, it's like being like walking Wi-Fi instead of trying to fix the external realm. It's like, like doing the internal work. Again, I'm being of service by fixing my own mental health, my own emotional health, you know, instead of letting somebody else try to go against my shadows. I'm doing the work of, like, shining a light on my shadows and understanding my shadows, and really, and again, like unconditionally accepting, those aspects of self. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because a lot of those split energies are those, quote unquote shadow aspects, or what some people may call demons, was created through a lack of love, you know. So it's like definitely gotta, and also understand, like, loving those energies doesn't mean I have to participate. Again, like, just, I can unconditionally love the part of me that drank 40s, but doesn't mean I gotta go chill with people who drink 40s again, or or drink a 40 myself. It just gotta, unconditional acceptance. Yeah, cutting up. Yeah, it's like a cat. She had a cats is probably keep keeping you online, keeping everything in alignment, man. Them cats is, cats represent the mastery of having two different, like, really masters of duality. When you think about, not having, not me personally, I haven't went in the laboratory and saw that, the cats, and it's only certain cat, like, especially because all cats don't have like the little, like a certain eye, like, they got different eyes, but like a cat's is like a split between a reptile and a mammal, so it's like literally having two different worlds in one body. So in essence, like a cat energy is like, representative of, mastery of duality, having to deal with two species in one body, that takes some type of inner work there for sure. Walking embodiment in the animal. You know what I'm saying? Hence why the story of Lyran beings, being like some of the eldest being like the cat beings being like some of the first beings to quote unquote being able to seed life on certain planets and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's I feel, like I sense from my the intuition that is kind of just speaking to metaphorically of like that connection too, like with the cats having those two different, energies inside, and mastering that energy. Peace, y'all. Now to vibrate, y'all know what it is. Sit down, tap in with this new moon energy. Write them intentions, doing the work to make sure the actions align with the words, the actions align with the studies. That's the thing too. A team full of Aries, a team full of beings who could hold their own. So imagine when we come together, the level, you know what I'm saying, of things that could be achieved. Peace. Y'all know what it is now to vibrate. All that good stuff. I ain't even say that no more. I'ma just with the like it. It's okay if you like the videos, like it, but it does help with the algorithms and stuff like that. But I'm getting back to because even I'm soon stop monetizing my videos. Let it be all YouTube. It's just all free game. And if you want to decide to, donate, again, all donation links is underneath. Most of all of my videos that have my little PayPal, Cash App, and all that. If you want a mutual exchange of, connecting with some crystal jewelry, I got my Etsy shop that's underneath. Also that location is underneath my videos as well. And that is it. That is all, y'all. Again, stay tapped in, stay grounded, be aware of how to tap in with these new moon energies, being aware of our inner cycles. Cancer already. Nah, man, most definitely, man. Enjoy tapping in with y'all, man. Love y'all. Stay on it. Peace. Stay on it and in it. Stay in it and out it. Keep the balance and equilibrium.